I understand you have been ringer sizing. Is that what we're calling it?
I think I'm just gonna go with exercising.
Okay.
What's that?
It's Nintendo invented it a couple months ago, or like a month ago.
No, they made a board a couple years ago to do yoga on.
That's just for yoga. That's something else. That's just for being fit. So is this?
No.
Is it baby yoga or what?
I'm playing. Oh yeah, he's very
really cute.
Okay.
Werner Herzog
It's
in
all
my
frog.
house yelling at me about baby yoga.
Werner Herzog in your house. It's a cheaper 2-hour show.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's
I saw an anecdote about that. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Oh, it's great. I enjoy it.
This is, I guess, treat this as apocryphal. I didn't see this from anywhere legit, but apparently there's a scene they shot with him and like a practical puppet of that thing. Oh,
yes.
is this real?
Yes.
And they went to then like shoot a clean version of the shot so they could add the CG character in. And he like called the showrunners cowards for not trusting their practical effect. And they just ended up sticking with the practical shot.
That works in line with him saying he's never seen a Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't he get shot during an interview?
Yeah.
And then he just continued going?
It was like an airsoft gun that shot him.
Okay.
But it did break the skin, I think.
All right.
I love that guy. Met him. Big fan. He's a big fan of the site.
Would you say he's very fit? Like he does a bunch of exercises?
He looks all right for a man who I assume is in his 60s.
Okay.
And I'm looking to look at least 60 again with Ring Fit Adventures.
Trying to look at least as good as Werner Herzog.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it says on the back of the box. Yeah, I picked up a Ring Fit. Like 2 weeks ago at this point, and I've played it almost every day since, and I love it.
Really?
I love it.
Okay.
I can't stop thinking about it. I mean, I know it's like cheating, right? Because the runner's high, like, you know, when you're working out, you're hitting endorphins that make you like live life better. And so I'm probably like enjoying this game way more than I would.
That's why I kick my legs whenever I play video games. I'm always
You're just like kind of doing a little
stomping. Just stomping.
Yeah. Unless it's a bad game, then you're just stomping for other reasons.
Yeah, different reason. Same stomp, different reason.
How much do you guys know about Ring Fit?
Not a ton. I mean, I guess my biggest question is like, is it really exercise forward? I mean, are they like literally saying like, hey, you'll probably burn X number of calories doing this?
I can tell you,
is it more of a game or is it more of like an exercise, like a fitness aid?
It really blends the two really well. I can tell you, I've done two. Like they monitor what you do during the day. They monitor what you do over all time, and that includes the exercises. That includes how much you're running. That includes prospective calories burned. Like you enter your weight at the beginning, and it uses that to determine how many calories you're burning, which isn't always going to be a perfect
it's just
science.
kind of a guideline, right?
Like at this point, I know I've done 200 squats just because it's like monitoring that stuff. So the way it works is, there's other modes, but the main mode is like this adventure mode, and the controller itself is this big. There's a big ring, which is you can like push in on it. It's
there's some flex to it,
some kind of resistance type
it's like
stuff.
a hard plastic with like soft foam handles, and then a leg strap. And so one Joy-Con goes in the ring, one Joy-Con goes in the strap.
Okay, so does the ring not have any like electronics in it itself? It's just the Joy-Con?
No, it has that little slot that like the little dog ear controller has, to slide the Joy-Cons in. It's just got one of those on it. And basically the way the game works is, there's kind of a world, there's a story, there's a whole thing about like you unleash an ancient evil, which takes the form of a really buff dragon in spandex. His name's Drago. He's great. Put Drago in Smash. Put
Ivan Drago in Smash.
He's always just flexing while he talks to you and just like, like doing. I mean, you can tell that I've been playing the game. I know.
Your form is really exquisite.
So, there's this, and then you have this little talking ring that like guides you along your adventure of like, we have to get the exercise emblems. I don't know. It's some just generic story.
Ring have a name.
Ringy or ring.
No.
I swear to God, it's like Ring Boy or something. It's, I don't know, whatever. All that stuff aside, the actual game itself is pretty cool. It's most of the levels are big, long levels where you are like running to move your character along. There's kind of two speeds at which you can move at, where you're either just kind of very lightly jogging or dashing, and you're jogging fast enough, and that's pretty much taking what's happening with your leg and the leg strap into consideration. And as you run, you can like push in on the ring con to blow air out, or pull to suck air in. This can suck in coins and stuff. You're like grabbing items and stuff throughout the world. There's like 3 golden coins in every level that you have to like grab if you want to unlock stuff. And then the game part of it is there are enemies placed throughout the world, and you encounter them, and it kind of enters like a turn-based RPG almost. And at this point, you have like 6 exercises that are your attacks. And they're kind of split up into 3 categories. There's core strength, which are going to be a lot of yoga moves, a lot of just like, there's
like yoga fire and yoga flame, that sort of stuff.
More like warrior pose, downward dog. I did a lot of downward dog.
So you need some room around you. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's like a guide at the beginning that's like, make sure you have like it's like the old days of Wii, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, make sure you've got room to swing your arms.
Is that about it? You're not going to be like running around in a space?
No, you run
swinging
in place.
Okay.
And then in fact, if you don't want to run, there's like a silent mode. They say for like 4 apartments and stuff where you can just do squats as the equivalent, which seems like way more of murder. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And then so you're doing these moves against the enemies. Each move type, so like there's like legs, core, and upper body. The upper body stuff is a lot of like repeated presses in on the Joy-Con, like an overhead press, an abdominal press, leg moves or squats. You've got like knee lifts, stuff like that.
And these are all prompted by like stuff going on in the adventure stuff, like.
Do you select which move you want to do? Like, do they do different types of damage?
Yes. So you have an arsenal, and you start out with 6, and you get more as you level up. Everything you do in the game is giving you experience, and when you level up, you get your like max health can go up. You can unlock new moves.
Like max health in the game, or your
both,
max health?
Honestly,
wow,
This is the beauty of it.
And so you are building out those moves, and the moves can do different damage. They can hit a different number of targets, like like the waist swivels. I forget what it's actually called, but it's like a very basic exercise. So that hits like, it can hit up to 5 enemies, but it does a lower damage. You can match.
It's an AOE exercise.
Totally.
Okay.
And you can match damage types. So like certain enemies will be weak against leg moves. And so you're doing that for more damage against them.
The game's never prompting you to do specific moves. It's up to you to decide what to.
No, it puts them on a 1-turn cooldown. So you can't just do the same one over and over, but you can go back and forth between 2.
Okay.
And do they build the enemies? So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, does it try to find a way to make sure you're getting a complete workout? Does it give you, does it force a variety of enemies with different weaknesses at you? So like if you're playing optimally, you're doing you got some leg stuff, you got some core stuff, you got some cardio. Like, is it trying to balance like that?
To a degree, it does a better job of balancing those things in the actual levels themselves, where you'll run into obstacles that's really like, it's a locked door, do an ab press. And so you have to like, and that's how you do your main defense, or with abdominal presses, you push the ring con into yourself. But then there's like, you're always doing cardio out in the world, but then there's a lot of different stuff. And then they do start, so like the matching damage types to enemy types isn't even something I unlocked till World 3. And Ringy's whole thing is he has 4 powers, and so that was the first power. So I don't know what the other 3 things are yet, but I'm assuming that they will add layers into the actual like RPG mechanics of it. I just unlocked the ability to buy like different outfits, which kind of provide buffs and debuffs to different types of moves. I've unlocked the ability to buy smoothies, which will give like recover hearts and stuff like that. But then there's also like there's boss battles, where they're kind of like extended versions of those fights, but maybe with some other mechanics laid in, some specific ones. The overworld offers a lot of different types of levels. Like there are those levels I was talking about, but there's also like minigame levels where you'll have to go and like, it'll just be like basically like Mario Party-esque minigames, but using the ring con as your controller. And then it's incredibly good about monitoring stuff, about constantly checking in on your difficulty level. At the end of every workout, it's like, how is that? Do you want to bump it up next time? Do you want to lower it next time?
Right.
You can do that on the fly too, like just at any point you can kind of pause and swap.
Does it ring up at some point and say like, hey, maybe take a break?
Yeah, totally. After like I've started to get it after like 20-ish minutes, it'll prompt you usually at the end of a level. Usually it'll say, not usually mid-level. You can do stuff like set alarms to remind you to do workouts. And so all that stuff's the main mode, and then there's like totally just if you're here for whatever reason but you don't want to play the game, there's totally like you can build a fitness workout, which are all of those individual items you have in the actual game that are your moves, but kind of fleshed out, and you can like build a routine, like do the ab routine, and it'll do like the 6 ab moves for you. But yeah, it's doing a really good job of tricking my stupid gamer brain into like thinking I'm getting points and shit. It's the first. I've played quite a few. Like there's been iPhone apps. Like the big one people always talk about is Zombie Run. I thought that one was neat, but not like fully realized or anything. This is the first one of those that I've played that I've really felt like sticking to because like it's just delightful. I feel like the vibe of it is, I feel like it's very heavily influenced by Breath of the Wild in its visual style and music. The music's actually pretty cool. And that the color kind of reminds me of that modern kind of Switch, like almost painted, but not quite, like very soft textures and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just it's a delightful thing. It's really good at holding your hand when you need it. There's like warm-up exercises you do before every time, but you can skip those if you don't feel like you need them. It lets you cater like. So one of the moves you have right out the gate is like you have to get on the ground and do like a leg thing, and I was just like, I don't want to like be getting up and standing up and getting down and standing up again. So like I just never did that move, and it never punished me for not wanting to do that move. You could totally cheese it if you want and like only do 2 exercises the entire time.
It's the classic power pad.
Right.
Just get down on the floor. And
I was just saying, gotta take the controllers out of it and just like trick it that way, and just like I'm laying on a couch.
If you like hold it right, like because it's at any point you can recalibrate it by just like holding it still and down for a few seconds, and it'll recalibrate both, which is really cool. So I feel like if you get too far off, it'll like kind of catch on. But like I was really tired, and like at the very end of my rope on one fight, and I was just like, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I had to do squats because like squats were the move, and I'm like, I'm just gonna grab a chair and sit in this chair and stand up and sit down and stand up, and like it was fine. And I'm like, you know what? This doesn't go against the spirit of the game because I'm still like physically active.
Whatever you need to tell yourself.
Could I theoretically go the opposite way with that and like, I don't know, add weights or like some type of resistance to the ring? Or like, what if I'm playing it on a treadmill?
Oh God. I feel like you could totally do that, like strapping some weights to your wrists or ankles and stuff. That's the thing about this game is it's like not going to make you buff by any means. You're not doing much.
Then forget it.
You're really just doing like resistance training.
Because every other game I play makes me buff.
Yeah, physically or mentally. Like there's a good game will take you to the brain gym.
No, not me.
You don't want to go to the brain gym?
No, thank you.
It's kind of like daily calisthenics exercise stuff. And the last thing I'll say about it is like it's got this like almost tooltip system of just like exercise 101 or like theories of exercise stuff that I feel like is totally helpful for if you're somebody like me who's a complete newbie. Like the times I have been an active gym member, I go to the gym and run on the elliptical for a little while,
right,
and then like go I'm done at the gym. But like it gets
there's a lot of other machines here, but I'm too scared to use them.
I don't want to look like
an idiot. I don't know how any of them work.
Yep.
There's like a guy you can watch. There's a guy doing the exercises on screen, so you can like try and make sure your form is matching their form.
How do they do about form? Do they? Because I feel like that was always like the Wii Fit thing, or it was always the scary part. Is like, are you gonna learn bad form and like fuck yourself up somehow doing some of this yoga? Does it ever come up and be like, hey, you should lift the ring a little higher? You should do like your knee might not be coming up enough. Or
yeah, totally. And in fact, your damage is tied to that. So like moves will have a range of damage that they can do, and you get a visual feedback of like your character will basically go Super Saiyan when you're doing it well. Your hair turns into fire.
Yep.
So you can see like once your character is doing the thing, you're low enough on your squat or you're pressing in enough on the ring. I I asked somebody who I like asked my, let's say, physical trainer to watch me while I was playing and so like observe my form and see if it was matching the thing. And it was like 80%, let's say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's like good enough that you can do that. But getting that visual feedback, and then the ring will be like, go a little lower next time. He talks like that.
Great. Oh man, I'm out.
How much is this thing?
$80 will get you the controllers and the game itself. I've heard it's really long too. Like there's a lot of meat to it.
Yeah, like you've got me half tempted to go pick one up. Like the biggest question I have is, and this probably varies for everybody, but like, does it feel like something that after you finish this adventure mode, you're going to keep coming back to consistently?
That's a good question. I wonder if there's some sort of like new game plus or some sort of mode to keep you.
Maybe they're going to put out other software for it or like something that
you'd like to think Nintendo would support its weird hardware, but I feel like they've not had a great track record with that as of late.
Yeah,
but like I guess that I don't know. Maybe that really just gets to the like inherent weakness of like gamifying exercise. Is that like once you get bored of the game thing, you're probably likely to kind of fall off from the habit, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if at that point, like, what do you just like join a gym? It's like after you like play enough of it, you're like, oh, I can do this, but it's not a video game. What? Holy
forget
cow.
it. I'm out.
You've been out like 6 times. I never counted you back in.
All right. We'll just assume I at some point thought about getting back in.
All right.
Like, nope.
That thing sounds cool.
It does sound
I'm
cool.
Tempted.
Yeah.
I'm tempted.
Everyone I've talked to who have gotten their hands on it really enjoy it, and it's like it'll sneak up on you. I got real sweaty on the first day of just being like, okay, actually I wasn't ready for this. I need to bump this difficulty down a few levels.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.